Hi gang, so in our last tutorial we talked a little bit about the concepts of timing and direction as well as how you grip a staff. This week we're going to start to apply some of those ideas by learning the concept of reels. Reels are a very, very simple kind of spinning move that can happen around your waist and around your shoulders and can move back and forth between the two. We're going to take a little bit of time to look up close and see what's happening with these. These are usually one of the first moves that anybody learns with a pair of double staves. And then we're going to actually apply them using the timing and direction information that we learned last week. So let's start off with a little close-up of what's happening exactly inside a reel.
We're going to start with hip reels. Specifically, we're going to start with the thumb end of the staff up, the pinky end down. We're then going to move the pinky end behind the back while the thumb end goes straight out to the right, and then move the pinky end behind the elbow, and finally move the thumb end in front of the waist. When we return to thumb end up, we've completed one rotation with each. We can then go through each of these positions in succession until we can get to the point that we can rotate smoothly, creating a circle with the thumb end in front of the body and another circle behind the body with the pinky end. Shoulder reels are quite similar to hip reels, but we're finding that each end behaves differently. Here, the thumb end goes behind, and the pinky end is what stays in front of the body. So as you can see, we cycle through portions where the thumb end is behind the shoulder, and the pinky end goes in front of our arm or in front of our face, eventually getting to the point where we can maintain a solid circle with the pinky end in front of the body and thumb in the back of the body. Now that we have both hip reels and shoulder reels at our disposal, we can practice moving back and forth between them. For example, since we know which end is the end that goes behind ourselves on top and bottom, we can use that end to lead back and forth across. If we're going from hip to shoulder, we can lead with the thumb, and if we're going from shoulder to hip, we can lead with the pinky. This works regardless of what direction we happen to be turning in.
Cool. So now we're ready to apply timing and direction to how we understand hip reels, right? Now, to start with, in Together Same like this, we're just going to very simply have the thumb ends and the pinky ends of both of our staves essentially repeating the exact same movements. So we see them go up together and down together on each side of our bodies, right? Easy peasy. We can also, of course, carry this upwards around our shoulders and experiment with bringing it back and forth, top side and bottom side, where of course it's going to be our pinky ends up around the hips and our thumb ends down around our shoulders. Next, we can try playing around with Together Opposite. Together Opposite is fun because it has this nice egg beater-ish look to it. Around our hips and around our head, or shoulders if you prefer. The shoulders are a little bit of a challenge because you're trying to look to clear your head every beat while still maintaining that kind of egg beater-ish shape. And again, you can play around with mixing and matching the hip side and the shoulder side, which I personally like and think is really cool when you stop it in one location or another before returning it back down. We can also do this in split time opposites. This is one of my very favorites. In split time opposites, what we're looking to do is have the thumb end of one staff be going up while the thumb end of the other staff is going down, right? Even around the hips, this is a really cool looking move, and we can turn with it to add a little style to it. We can also, of course, switch back and forth. Which hand is at the hips, which hand is at the waist, like so. Doing this in split opposites is actually quite easy because it means that we're never in a position where the two staves might run into each other or tangle around another part of the body. And again, I have thumb end down, pinky end up, thumb end down, pinky end up, thumb end down, pinky end up. If you want, one of the ways that you can simplify this is, say, turn to your right-hand side with that left thumb down behind your shoulder and your right pinky up next to your right hip, and switch them. So you wind up with that left pinky end up at your waist and your right thumb end down at your shoulder. Turn 180 degrees and reverse them. The right end staff winds up with the pinky end at the waist and the thumb end at the shoulder, and you just turn back and forth between the two directions. Split time, same direction is a lot more complicated, and it has that same kind of issue that we had in Together Opposite, wherein the two stabs feel like they should be running into each other both on the front side and the back side. In this case, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to create like essentially a little pit between the front of our body and one of our stabs that the other staff can kind of sneak inside of, like so. So in this case, I have both thumbs to the center, both pinkies behind me. Both thumbs to the center, both pinkies behind me. Both thumbs to the center, both pinkies behind me. Both thumbs to the center, both pinkies behind me, so on and so forth, right? Quite the challenge to do this on the top side too, and I won't lie, this is one that I'm still working on, but I figured I'd show you the waist end first. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back in 2 weeks with a tutorial on the basics of anti-spin, isolation, in-spin, and extensions. Yeah? Thanks, and peace.